New Zealand has long been recognized as a country of opportunity, known for its breathtaking landscapes, inclusive society, and strong economy. However, in 2025, that image is set to change significantly. The government has introduced major immigration reforms that could force thousands of immigrants to leave the country. These new policies have raised serious concerns among families, skilled professionals, and businesses that rely on immigrant labor. This video explores the impact of these immigration reforms, the reasons behind the policy shift, and the real-life consequences for those affected. The situation has sparked protests and debates across the country, with many questioning whether New Zealand will continue to be a welcoming nation. New immigration policies and their implications. The New Zealand government has implemented a series of immigration policy changes aimed at addressing population growth, housing shortages, and workforce priorities. These reforms have introduced several major restrictions, making it significantly harder for immigrants to secure permanent residency. One of the most notable changes is the revised points-based skilled migrant system. The criteria for permanent residency have become much stricter, requiring applicants to meet higher standards in education, work experience, and language proficiency. This shift has made it more challenging for many professionals to qualify, particularly those who have contributed to the country for years but may now fall short of the new requirements. Another significant change is the tightening of family sponsorship regulations. Previously, family reunification was a key component of New Zealand's immigration system. Under the new policies, however, processing times for sponsorship applications have been extended, and the requirements have become more demanding. As a result, many families who had planned to reunite in New Zealand now face uncertainty and prolonged separation. The government has also shifted its focus toward temporary work visas rather than permanent residency pathways. This means that many skilled workers who have lived and worked in New Zealand for years may find themselves with fewer options for long-term settlement. With limited routes to obtaining permanent residency, many may be left with no choice but to leave the country once their work visas expire. The impact on immigrants and their communities. The consequences of these immigration changes are already being felt across the country. Families that have spent years building their lives in New Zealand now face an uncertain future. For example, the Patel family, who moved to New Zealand 5 years ago in search of better opportunities, now fears that their efforts could be in vain. Despite contributing to the workforce and economy, their future in the country remains uncertain under the new rules. New Zealand has seen a 40% increase in its reliance on temporary workers over the past 5 years. Many of these workers have played crucial roles in industries such as healthcare, hospitality, and technology. However, the new immigration rules have left them uncertain about their legal status, and many may soon be forced to leave despite their essential contributions. The economic and social impact of these policies could be severe. Cities like Auckland and Wellington, which depend heavily on immigrant labor, may experience labor shortages in key sectors. Businesses that rely on skilled migrants may struggle to find qualified workers, potentially leading to economic stagnation. Furthermore, the disruption of immigrant communities could lead to broader societal consequences, affecting social cohesion and community development. Protests and calls for policy reform. In response to these drastic changes, protests have erupted across major cities in New Zealand. Demonstrations in Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch have drawn attention to the struggles faced by immigrants and their families. Advocacy groups and community leaders have urged the government to reconsider the policies, arguing that they disproportionately impact those who have already contributed significantly to the country. Legal experts and human rights organizations have also raised concerns about the fairness of these policies. Some argue that the new regulations may violate international human rights agreements, particularly in cases where families are being forcibly separated or long-term residents are being denied pathways to citizenship. Many New Zealanders, both immigrants and citizens, believe that a balanced approach is necessary. They argue that while immigration policies should address economic and social concerns, they should also recognize and support the contributions of immigrants rather than placing them in a state of uncertainty. The future of immigration in New Zealand. As the government moves forward with these new policies, the future of immigration in New Zealand remains uncertain. The long-term effects of these reforms will depend on how strictly they are enforced and whether any amendments are made in response to public pressure. There is still an opportunity for change, as advocacy efforts continue to push for a more balanced and fair immigration system. For many immigrants, the question remains: will New Zealand continue to be a country where they can build a future, or will they be forced to leave behind the lives they have worked so hard to establish? The coming months will be critical in determining the direction of the country's immigration policies and their impact on thousands of individuals and families. Final thoughts. These immigration reforms represent a significant shift in New Zealand's approach to immigration. While the government aims to address economic and social challenges, the policies have raised serious concerns about fairness, stability, and the country's long-standing reputation as a welcoming nation. What do you think about these new immigration policies? Should New Zealand take a different approach? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video informative, consider subscribing to stay updated on important global developments.